This is Chris Cook from 3M Commercial Graphics. During this series of videos we've covered a lot of topics about the correct way to approach vehicle wraps. Today I'd actually like to speak about some of the things that we shouldn't do when we're wrapping a vehicle, and in particular some parts of a vehicle that we shouldn't apply film to. The adhesive on wrap films is designed to be applied to smooth, clean, painted surfaces, but you will run into some parts of the vehicle that aren't painted, and we should be very wary of applying film to because we may not get good long-term adhesion. Now, one of the first areas that you might run into is any areas where we have soft rubbery materials, say for example window mouldings or seals. If I push my thumb into it, we can see that yes, it's a soft rubbery material designed to sort of seal the window into the panel. Now, if we apply the wrap film over this, we'll find that yes, it will probably adhere to start with, but over time the plasticizers that are in that synthetic rubber that make it soft and flexible will actually sort of leach out of the material and actually degrade the adhesive, cause it to go very soft and more likely to release, and they can even actually make the film itself kind of go soft and wrinkle up. So we certainly don't recommend that when we're wrapping a vehicle that we actually wrapping over the top of these seals or these mouldings. We should be actually trimming our film back to the edge of the panel there, and this should be left clear. What you can find is if you do put film over them, several years later, if you do remove that film, you may actually find that the adhesive kind of permanently bonds with that rubber, and when you peel the film off, you're actually left with a sticky residue behind that actually you can't remove. So we do want to make sure that we stay well away from these areas, not apply the film over them, or if we do, trim it back as our last trimming stage. Okay, another area of the vehicle that we really shouldn't be applying film to is any unpainted plastic body parts. Now you might often see this with unpainted grey plastic bumpers, or perhaps these bump strips or door handle areas. Tend to be on the sort of, I suppose, the entry model vehicles. But our problem here is really two issues. Firstly, these pieces are made out of a low surface energy plastic, which means that the adhesive just won't bond very well with them. And often too, they tend to be textured, so you don't get great adhesive contact. So we really do find that we get very poor adhesion on these areas, and the film is not likely to stay adhered in the long term. You can actually, I suppose, demonstrate that lack of adhesion just doing a simple adhesion test. I'm just going to get a couple of pieces of wrap film. I'm going to apply one to the painted panel, and one to the plastic panel underneath, and we'll compare the adhesion to both panels. Okay, and now we'll find that if we remove those two pieces of film, we'll find that on the painted panel we've got quite good adhesion. The film's really getting a good grip. Whereas on the painted plastic part, we'll find it just strips off very easily. So we're just not getting very good adhesion here, and we will find over time that film is far more likely to come off that area. So again, when we're wrapping these areas, we should be trimming out around those unpainted plastic body parts, because we're going to get poor adhesion because of the low surface energy material and often that textured surface. Now, I have seen some installers actually use primer, adhesion promoter, on these unpainted plastic body parts to make the film stick better. And it certainly will make it adhere, but you do run the risk of then later on when the film is eventually removed, that primer actually causes the adhesive to really get into that sort of textured surface, and you actually end up with adhesive residue that you really can't get out of there, and you end up with stains on the plastic parts. So we really don't recommend that. Okay, now if you're also perhaps wrapping some internal parts of the vehicle with the wrap film, really the same rules apply. The film should only be applied to a smooth, rigid plastic surface. So with some of these interior parts, yes, some of them are a smooth, rigid plastic, others are soft and flexible. We certainly shouldn't be applying any film to this. Hard and rigid plastics, yes, are okay. Also be aware of some of these highly sort of textured surfaces. Again, the adhesive will struggle to make good contact with that surface and we won't get great adhesion. But again, these areas here, smooth, rigid plastic, will be fine. Up here, soft, flexible plastic, no good. That, smooth and rigid, is okay. So again, those same general rules apply. The film will adhere best to those smooth, rigid surfaces, and we shouldn't be applying it to any surface that's soft and flexible, or that really has a significant surface texture to it. Okay, so there are just a few pointers about some areas on some vehicles where we shouldn't actually apply the wrap film. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. This has been Chris Cook from 3M Commercial Graphics. And as usual, if you have any feedback or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section below. Thank you.